of those champions. Remember, we were talking about the Jarvan and the Poppy being taken away by JDG early. They're going to go for the Vi. I do think it's a little bit of more of a mistake. We've only seen Tarzan play a single game of Vi all split long, and that was in their Game 3 versus WE. And I think this is a champion that, especially for JunJia, it's his most played across the entire split so far. So kind of, again, focusing a lot on the pools of our two junglers, and I think this is to the detriment of JDG.
Definitely do agree with you there. We do have the Vi ban coming on through, continuing to try to limit some of Tarzan's options. I wonder if we're going to see that Poppy ban come through again. It's a little bit of a unique pick, maybe more unique for the jungle for Tarzan than it is for many teams. A lot of teams are putting that in support these days, but Tarzan's still big fan of what he can get done in the early games here, and there goes that ban. It will continue to take that option away from him. Do still think there's plenty of great options available, though. The Jarvan in particular, one that I'm keeping my eyes on, could be first pickable, and AL recognizes that, and they're going to ban it away.
So what are we looking for here? There's no Rumble, there's no Varus anymore. We're taking Aurora, which is notably a flex between these two laners, but we haven't seen Xiaoxu play it so far this split. So imagine this is going to be going over to HongQ. Aurora has definitely changed her identity, as we've seen first. She went from this massively big burst mage in 2025 to some of her damage being taken away, especially in her passive. So she is much more passive reliant than she used to be. And we're immediately getting a response of the Yunara Lulu, which there's not too many fighter junglers left to pair up with the Lulu. So I wonder what the options are here for Tarzan.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like you said, a lot of the fighters taken off the board. The Trundle falling down people's priorities list. There's not really any kind of tanks to try to abuse with it. I mean, I wonder if you just snap up Flandre's Scion here. It's not the best matchup up against the Aurora, assuming that Xiaoxu is willing to play that. Could also go for something like the Ambessa. I mean, that could be for Tarzan in the jungle. It could be flexed. You get the opportunity to keep that alive. Could also just snap up Victor here, perhaps assuming that it's going to be HongQ on the Aurora. Feels good about that matchup, but the flex is still alive and well.
That's a dangerous pick. I think that's AL showing a little bit of confidence here. Me personally, yeah, the lane might be good for Victor, but you're going into a late game, you're going to be playing against Ashe Seraphine. We need to see frontline, and this is where I think JDG can be really smart in their bans. You know that there's not going to be a tank engage from bottom lane, at least from the support position, so Scion has to be at the front of your mind. You also have to start thinking about other champions, kind of like the Cassante or even the Renekton later on. Yes, they both are a little bit weaker to, again, this bottom lane duo, but who's blocking for these champions? Kael's is going to be really big value here for Kael later on, but I think that JDG yet again have a draft where they have options, and especially early on, they have plenty of tools to be able to work through.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Shanks comfortable on the Victor for certain, but yeah, it feels like there's about as many opportunities to punish it as there's ever going to be, and definitely wants to just snap up these control mages while they're up and available, though. Doesn't want to risk them getting pinched further. Guess likes what they offer alongside the Yunara Lulu, and likes what they offer into a squishy trio already coming through here for JDG. The Scion for Flandre are going to get banned away. There goes the Nocturne. There goes the Gnar as additional potential options. And AL clearly not buying the potential for this Yunara to be, this Aurora to be flexed up towards the top lane, thinking that it's going to be for HongQ and continuing to ban options away from Xiaoxu.
This looks like we're trying to prep for Renekton. I mean, Gnar ban, now there's a Yorick on as well. Kind of feels like that's the angle that we're shooting for here from AL. Again, versus Ashe, she can try to keep you strung along with her slows. Alright, so still I think that this Seraphine Ashe combo, which we've been seeing rise up in priority, really has a ton of value. Now we need the front line and the engage to be able to follow behind it. I think Wukong actually gets so much value here in this game for JDG, especially from a 2v2 perspective, but even from a team fight. And then top lane, you really have your pick of the litter. You're going into Renekton, you can just go ahead and slam something like the Jax we've seen from Xiaoxu, always up and available for them. We are going for a Yone top into Renekton. This is tough.
I mean, I wonder if this is just Yone mid with the Aurora top. I think a lot of folks
that's probably more
are
true.
Willing to play the Aurora into the Renekton. I think you're just capitalizing on the flex. And then here's this Maokai. Maokai buffed on the latest patch that we aren't playing on, correct?
Yes, but it is buffed on 26.3. This is the...
Okay.
If I remember correctly, 26.3 is the patch that they gave him overall Q damage, and then this patch on 26.4 is the monster damage. So he's not as broken as
so
he
he's got
could
the Q
be.
damage, not the monster damage.
Yeah,
All well and
you
good.
know. Yeah.
JunJia, but still, it's the old classic. The good counter to this, though, is the Silas, and that's going to get snapped on up for Tarzan in the jungle, baby. I love to see it. Tarzan busting out something a little bit spicy. You save him R5 jungle, not R5 jungle, B5 jungle, second pick 5 jungle. We got to change that terminology around. We got to refine that. It's already been almost a whole split. Tarzan makes it work with last pick jungle, grabs the Silas. This is going to be so good with everything here, honestly. You're up against Seraphine Maokai. The fact that you're willing to that you get the opportunity to lock in Silas here, absolutely nuts. You got to believe that Tabe wasn't ready for this one.
You're saying Seraphine, I'm saying Ashe. Like I get to take the Ashe ultimate at any
time.
Yeah.
I'll say Aurora too. These are all good ultimates.
Hell yeah. I'll take all of these. This is going to be a really interesting game. Again, the early, I am expecting for JDG to be able to take control of these lanes, the 2v2 in bottom lane. Seraphine isn't as dominant as other ranged carries, so I'm actually imagining that Yunara and Lulu should be able to get priority early on, but after we get a couple of recalls in, JDG need to play fast, and they need to be really aggressive, because they don't have the same front line that their opponents do, and Seraphine's healing doesn't really kick on until 2 and 3 items, and once she gets a few levels.
Yeah, definitely. I think those new Enchanter items, really beneficial to Seraphine as well as the Lulu. Really gives them very strong scaling options. But like you said, the Lulu in those early laning phases is going to feel really, really good. And just the synergy that it provided with the Yunara does give you these really quick burst angles despite the reliable lockdown that you can get from an Ashe Seraphine duo. So this is going to be an interesting lane to keep an eye on. Gala and Vampire do get one of their...
Is he here? Maybe he knew. Maybe the JDG fan chant leader knew this is a scheduled loss. He just had a feeling. Maybe he was just not excited about the team. He's like, we'll get him later. I'll come for one of our elimination games in the lower bracket.
Yeah, potentially. It's yeah, I mean, it's been a tough game number 1 for them. Crazy to hear how much support AL's gotten for themselves here. They're definitely the fan favorite in the arena right now, at least from what's coming through on our end of the audio. Fandom getting behind this AL team and what they've been able to show so far this season, and there's a lot to like. 8-2, best record in the LPL.
I mean, you've got one of the most legendary players in Flandre, right? Like, this guy, massively beloved, playing for an incredibly long time, super storied individually, so it's not all too surprising to see him, garner a fandom and grab at least some fan chants for the Orc, who has really started to rise up ever since they brought Tabe in all the way back in 2024, 2025, obviously. They then have a massive resurgence as one of the best teams from this region. Junglers already, I mean, Tarzan goes for 3 camps. He gets spotted by the Hawk shot and takes an immediate recall so he can get himself a Dark Seal. That's some pretty interesting tech, even though he is about a camp behind from JunJia. It's not going to be too impactful for now anyway.
Definitely. Now, just going to be catching this wave as it comes on into him. The man himself, making sure that he's going to try to not fall too far behind to the range versus melee matchup and look to secure his moments on this Renekton. Opposite side starts for the junglers, means that they will successfully exchange scuttlers. Tarzan been married to his topside scuttler for the series so far. Looks like he's going to secure himself another one. JunJia a little bit faster on the clear for the Maokai, going to be able to secure a little bit of deep vision, make sure that he keeps his tabs on where Tarzan is clearing towards. Let's see how this early pick Victor pays off for Shanks, because we had a lot of doubts about it.
I was very worried when you kind of see an Aurora, an Ashe, and especially with a Maokai in the game. So it's going to be worrisome as Victor. You don't have a ton of frontline either. It's really just Flandre who's there to tank it for you. But if Shanks goes the build that I think he's going to go, which is probably going to be like Rod of Ages, Seraphs, he's going to be very tanky, and that means that he usually won't get dealt with very early on. So if that's not the build, then I'm kind of interested to see what Shanks is going to do to maybe fix some of his later game queries that we have about his survivability going into this champion. But already has a small advantage for himself. He's already done some pretty decent damage onto HongQ early on. Now with this first back coming on through, I wonder if that changes the matchup in any meaningful way here for the Yone.
Find out. So far, been pretty nice for Shanks, and HongQ getting a little bit set behind on his timer as well, taking a little bit of a tempo hit as Tarzan did interrupt that recall, hunt him down a little bit. Just had a few free moments to be able to roam around and be a thorn in the side of this Yone, and you know what? It's still paying off for this Victor here. These pre-level 6 doing a good job of being able to find successful trades and being able to control the status of the wave just a little bit more, thanks to his additional time in lane. Of course, Vampire and Gala going to be able to find the push in this bottom lane pretty consistently on that Ashe Seraphine duo. Double high notes will do that for you.
How is he supposed to play this lane, man? Like, just Shanks is kind of walking him here. Like the Q shield that he gets. Also, he's using Summon Airy to be a little bit more aggressive. The matchup that I'm really focused on, aside from these guys, is top lane. We did highlight this as our head-to-head going in, and not really to shout, like, it wasn't Xiaoxu who got bodied in the matchup in game number 1, but I'm really worried about Aurora here in this draft. I don't think that she usually, because of the changes to her kit, she's not as burst heavy, and Renekton is super, super tanky early on. I mean, he already has no Magic Mantle and D-Shield, and he's not really that far behind. He's probably like 3 minions behind this Aurora right now, so he's going to have access to Dominus. I don't think there's a solo kill ever happening in this lane for the rest of the game now.
Shanks did just drop Ultimate in mid, I think, just to clear out the wave a little bit faster.
Yeah.
He's really tempo concerned in this matchup. Just wants to get that lost chapter, get back to lane, not miss out on any minions. JunJia is already 6 before the second scuttle, so good stuff by JunJia. Must have sapped a little bit of lane XP there, and I do think that's going to give him the power to just kind of control this second scuttle and secure himself for it. Usually you're fighting for the second scuttle to get level 6, but I guess if you get level 6 first, you just get the scuttle for free.
May I point to you that they did get the first dragons. So that would have given him experience to be able to grab.
Oh yeah, that'll do it.
The level 12. So Tarzan's gonna get level 6 now. He can steal the Nature's Grasp if he really wants it, but Shanks is a bit trapped. Like HongQ has him stuck on this side.
Yeah, they just can't do the damage. So just kind of flexing on each other a little bit here. Nice dash from HongQ. Will guarantee him a solid little trade. But yeah, I mean, like you said, it's tough when he just keeps siphoning power on you. Meanwhile, looks towards the bottom lane for both junglers. Tarzan wants a brawl with JunJia's Maokai. Vampire going to be the first one on in here. Kael trying to find a little bit of harassment. They're going to exchange Nature's Grasp. Tarzan falling lower and lower, though. Can he use the Kingslayer to get a little bit of health back? Both AD carries fighting back and forth. Hope wins the one-on-one. Tarzan dives in and cleans house. 3-0 AL. They do it again.
It's just like last game, but at least this time, AO got their bottom lane involved. Split up. Seraphine early is extremely useless. And look, versus the Lulu, you're going to have your work cut out for you if you are Vampire. He had very little to offer that. I kind of want to see what happened between our 280 carries, because while this is all going on, Tarzan and JunJia are kind of fighting 1v1. Vampire uses his W, he uses his heal. Look at Gala. Gala's not able to walk up anywhere near, and this is also in the middle of minions.
Yeah, the Nature's Grasp from Tarzan finds its way onto him for that little bit of extra damage, that little bit of extra edge. And Tarzan just cleans up. Let's go. Helper pretty happy about that one. We'll walk away with that win.
Helper's like, we won a 3v3 like that. Okay, sure.
We did it again.
Yeah. Hey, who said it was just the grubs that was ruining the game? No, we just do it ourselves here in the bot lane.
That's what I'm telling them in scrims every week, man. Just win all of your fights, start the game 3-0, and it's a lot easier from there.
What was the point of even playing the scrimmages, guys? I get it. I'm surprised that JDG are not willing to trade for what is the grubs on top side. We're seeing a picture-in-picture replay. There's that Dominus. Does mean that Flandre does lose his flash, but Xiaoxu has to do the same. But Silas can't hijack the Nature's Grasp again, at least for a while here. So surprised that we're not going to try to fight this.
Ooh, there's going to be a combo coming through onto Hope. He is going to be chunked down.
Oh!
He advances forward, gets the growth on top of Kael, and Gala forced to flash defensively, but here comes JunJia with the Nature's Grasp, blocked away by Kael, but Hope's got nowhere left to go. He's going to fall on down.
Let's go, Kael!
Out of the turret, though. Nice dodge with a twisting advance. JunJia stays alive, and Kael is not able to get anything back for his marksman.
Look at what AL are getting across the map. I will take that as AL. You got the flash out from Gala, so that will be something that happens when we talk about the Dragon in minute and a half. And while they'll get plates for this bottom side, you just gave over a lot of gold, not only to this Victor, but now Silas, who picks up all 3 grubs here in this fight. So as long as we can get someone else on a turret, if we can maybe usher Shanks later in the game to pick up one of these outer turrets, suddenly AL are going to springboard themselves pretty nicely, and they have a lot of good tools to be able to play with for this next objective.
Ooh, there's the Chaos Storm coming on through, on towards HongQ, and AL continue to find themselves advantages in this early game, and I mean, they've been advantaged against JDG each time they've encountered each other in a best-of-5 all time, Alk, as we were talking about a little bit pre-game here. As we have a little bit of peace in this top lane. I don't think Xiaoxu is going to chase Flandre all the way down. HongQ takes a big chunk. He is all good. Now we can talk about AL versus JDG in best-of-5s.
Yeah, they've only played twice, mostly because AL before 2024 was kind of a nothing burger org. Obviously, they did take over the slot from Rogue Warriors originally, but last year they played in 2 best-of-5s, and one of them was a 3-0. So not all that surprising to see that AL, at least in recent history in best-of-5s, we have never seen JDG beat this team in these kinds of series. So it'll be a really big surprise if JDG can actually do it, especially with the form that we've not only seen from them this year, but even just tonight by itself. It is already looking like AL are still keeping it pushing when it comes to their level of play. They're setting up a bot lane dive here. This is the encore here for Tarzan, no flash.
Nice connect onto Gala. They are going to start off the dive onto him. Nobody in a great position to be able to tank, though. Doesn't seem to matter. Gala falls down, stunned up by the gravity well, but now Tarzan caught up inside the enemy jungle. He will lose his life for that. It is a 1-for-1 thus far as AL try to retreat. Kael already a little bit low, though, going to get blown up by one of those saplings, and a flash encore from Vampire will lock down 2. Hope falls down as well. JunJia forces the flash out of Shanks, and JDG even up the kills, close to even up the gold. They're alive in this game, Alk.
Wow, Gala dies? I was positing that because Ashe lost flash on that trade, that would have been good for them, but AL spend way too much time. A great defense from JDG. They don't even lose any plates. They'll get all of these flash, the flash from Shanks, and now they get the dragon. They get at least 2 dragons here. JDG are feeling good as AL essentially spent their entire advantage there trying to kill this Ashe.
Yeah, and you know what? JunJia's shown this game the trees still got legs, right? Having real good success in those bot lane dives earlier on. Maybe not looking the best in the one-on-one up against Tarzan Silas for that first fight, but since then, he's had great impact and really good positioning on the saplings there. Really good job in that team fight to be able to just utilize the kit of the champion to be able to find yourself some success, find those powerful punishes on towards AL, and that's always been where this champion has excelled as a jungler.
Gordo, I don't know how you feel about the Maokai champion, but I am not excited for this champion to come back in competitive play. I was really happy with where the meta is. Like, we got to see Kiana, and then, you know, like, there was the threat of Jace, there was Poppy and everything, but Maokai is incredibly boring. Here we go.
Uh-oh. Here he goes again. Nature's Grasp finds its way on towards 1, but Tarzan returns fire. Here comes the Fate sealed over the wall. HongQ getting himself involved. Down goes Tarzan. Gala gets himself a double kill. Hope forced off of the play, and JDG, for the first time this series, will take the lead.
The only reason this play isn't massively going in favor of JDG in terms of gold is because they had already set up squeezing Gala and Vampire off of the minion wave. That's why they were playing in between the turrets there, not only to try to screen them, but maybe get a little bit more turret plates because of their 3 grubs. But now with multiple kills going over to Gala, them having time to the wave, Gala's already completed his lane quest. Hope hasn't, and you're playing this Yunar Lulu, you want to be on top of that quest. You can get so much gold and play this really strong style with a 2 and 3 item AD carry. 2 dragon stacking as well. JDG are, after a bit of a slower early game, picking it up. They're getting warmed up on the stage.
Indeed they are. And HongQ with a nice play over the wall there, gets into the play, gets himself on the board, starting to scale up on this Yone. That's what they need. They need JunJia and HongQ awake and alive in this game. Don't do it to him again. Don't do it to him again. Oh my god.
That's beautiful.
Gala's gonna rage quit on stage, bro.
Knowing how muscular he is, he might just like stand up and walk over to Flandre. He's gonna be like, I see you have K-tape, brother. Don't mess with me, okay?
Oh,
HongQ, he's got the mini wave, should be fine.
I don't know about that. Does get himself taken down. Nature's Grasp, a hell of a drug, holds him still for long enough. They guarantee the gravity well off of that one, and down goes HongQ for the first time this game. Shanks up 2-0 now, well on his way towards getting his upgrades. You'll love those early kills on the Victor just to get yourself fully decked out with all of the features Victor has to offer.
I love Victor bucks. I don't know what Riot was doing when they were on their kick of just having every champion have its own internal currency. They like rework Syndra to have her Syndra bucks.
They've all got
Victor,
their own wingdings.
Yeah, so we're gonna maybe see if we can make a play. It looks like for HongQ, this is just to try to hopefully equalize the lane matchup. Shanks still has no flash, and for now they're just gonna grab themselves some more turret plates. I think that's an okay trade, even with HongQ dying previously.
Yeah. Now HongQ gonna get himself some additional turret plates too. He's looking just fine as he tries to scale into this game. Despite how rough some of that early laning was looking, he's not really at much of a deficit at all. A couple hundred gold here, pretty much even in CS. He's able to get himself another kill that'll disappear before long. It's just 1 or 2 waves separating him, and he's already got the Blade of the Ruined King. So pretty nice stuff for him, given how impactful he should be able to be in this later game. This is basically a dream team comp for the Yone. So much lockdown available from the rest of the crew. The Seraphine ultimate, the Maokai ultimate really, really do so much to be able to set up for huge fate seals. This is what you're hoping for here, to really be able to flex the muscle that the Yone affords you and make up for some of the DPS loss you suffer with a little bit of a more utility-focused marksman like Xiaoxu.
I feel bad for Flandre because historically the Renekton matchup into Yone should be fine, but because he was playing into Aurora, he opted in for Merc Treads. And so Yone actually just kind of eats him alive in side lanes now for a little bit. This is supposed to help Flandre or this is supposed to help Shanks as he's laning into the Aurora. He can deal with some of her poke and her damage early on with his shield. So it's bad for the Renekton, but right now for AL, their focus is just get Shanks and Hope to 2 and 3 items, and I think we're going to be fine. A bit of a ticking time bomb as we get ready for this dragon here. Vampire is going to have the Diadem of Souls soon, and once that comes online, Seraphine is going to have infinite healing in long fights, which that alongside a Maokai and this Yone is going to be a pretty big nightmare to deal with.
Uh-oh, JunJia just caught a little bit with his pants down here. Doesn't have the rest of the squad there to back him up. Quick on his feet to dodge the abduct. If Tarzan hits that E, it very well might be a dead JunJia. He dodges that one from Fog pretty quick, does the back step. You gotta give him credit there, but it's not going to do much to save this dragon. Does go over to AL, stops the stacking, and JunJia already threw out the Nature's Grasp. They're looking for a little bit of violence here. They do find Shanks. He has to cleanse, dodges away from 2 ultimates in 1. Now here comes the ultimate from Tarzan, gets to the encore. Return encore from Vampire, lands onto more people, but doesn't do more to win the fight as Tarzan's still brawling right in his front line. Flash in from Flandre, finds 1 execute, dives through on towards Vampire, chucking away at his health bar with the Dominus, and JunJia and Vampire on slivers of HP, getting circled by Shanks and Flandre. Will they be able to close this out? Kael's en route. They don't want to let these fish go, and I don't think they're going to be able to get away.
Yeah, JunJia has no HP, Kael's here, and they're still pushing on top side. Let's just get our 2v2. Let's go ahead and take our turret as well. Let's all wave into the smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.
Yeah, Yeah, Vampire getting lower and lower. Flandre falling low. They do clean up the kills. It is at the cost of Flandre's life.
Oh, wait
and it
a
might
minute.
be at the cost of Shanks, too. They took a little too long. Gala came back, and Gala gets some revenge. It's a 2 for 2 in the bottom.
That's not that bad. AL did still grab the dragon at the end of that, and they're still getting heralded. So while this game is a bit more back and forth, I would say that I'm still in favor of AL. It feels like they're the ones that are making the right decisions at the right time, and JDG are more often than not having to pick off stragglers and picking off AL when they decide they want to go for an extra play after they've already committed so much.
Whoa, Tarzan with the stolen away Fate Seal, looking to keep the fight going out of HongQ. HongQ wants this 1 versus 2, and he's going to regret it very quickly. Hope melts him with the full Yunara combo, and there goes HongQ. AL, another +1 on the play.
That was JDG. That was HongQ saying, hey, I could, like you mentioned, I want to go for a +1. I want to go, hey, let's try to find a skirmish between you in the 1v2. As soon as the Shanks flash is here, this should have been all out, but Tarzan tries to make do, gets a massive last-second encore onto Gala, who, by the way, had flash this entire time. Loses it and still loses his life for this play. Wild growth ends up being massive for this team, and I mean, honestly, the flanking Renekton got more done than Xiaoxu did on this play. And we'll keep going through the... Oh, we're not going to go through the replay. Thank you. The observers are doing better. We're not having 6 replays in a row. We're not going for a mega extended one. Just get right back to live. I love it.
I mean, you can't blame Xiaoxu for that fight, right? I think that was about as good of a between worlds as he could get. His Ashe was already down. Gala needed to flash that flash encore, I'm just saying. I mean, maybe didn't expect the range to reach quite that far. Doesn't extend through anybody, so maybe you're thinking it's about the fizzle. Yeah, I mean, it was right on the edge. That ability, if you don't extend it through a champion, it's not that long range. Everybody thinks Encore has a billion range because it's usually passing through some champions en route to its final destination. Didn't happen there, but still does find its way on towards Gala. And he's going to need to stop that. He did not see these carries.
Legendary take from Gordo.
Anytime,
do not get hit by spells.
I got a million of them, all right? I could coach AL if I keep calling out right there. Win the fights, 3v3 at level 3. Don't get picked off.
Okay.
I got a million of these.
Gordo, how come Heartstuck Casterlo has never won? I mean, with knowledge
we've won
like this,
plenty of individual games.
I don't see
also, Quack's is coach,
I see no
all right? I have to play, all right? It's not my fault. It's Quack's coach, okay?
All right. Look, he's almost masters, so you guys have very little excuse. Anyway, we don't have to talk about the escapades of you guys going on. We have dragon spawning in a minute here. We did see a play while we were going through that of Gala trying to send an Ashe arrow onto Shanks on the side lane, but we're going to be walking into an objective here, Gordo, where almost all of the flashes for AL are going to be up. JDG might be in that same boat, so it's going to have to be as good as possible. We still don't have the diadem, and he actually went for the Kaels that I was talking about earlier. And I think that this fight comes down to the solo laners here for JDG. If they're going to have any chances of winning, I need to see HongQ on this almost two items, Yone, to make something happen. Otherwise, it feels like the pick has not really gone our way, and JDG really do need a soul stacking objective to try to get them this game.
Ooh, Tarzan, nice positioning on the Nature's Grasp there, but Xiaoxu, he's got enough mobility in his kit. His champion came out in the last couple of years, so he's able to get his way out of the Nature's Grasp in time. Does cost him everything in the champion kit. Doesn't have to blow the flash, though, crucially. Little rocket belt into between worlds will make his way out to safety, and the Dragon going to start off by JDG at the same moment. I like this. They should be able to get themselves a soul point.
They'll finish it, but do they even get it? I mean, they're losing so much in mid right now. They're losing the Herald. The Herald just took down mid-tier 1. AL have complete control of the lane, and then they're going to take a second turret here. So it comes down to this objective in 5 minutes. It's a 1,500 gold lead here for Hope. You've got minor leads in all the other lanes except for bottom lane, especially in the support position, as Vampire is really turboed in terms of the income. But JDG, they lose a lot. Now it's kind of an all-or-nothing gamble on what is going to be a dragon spawning in 4 minutes.
Definitely. Chemtech Soul give them a little bit of help, especially on some of these champions like the Maokai, does in the Yone serves them well as they want to continue brawling to the last breath. But yeah, I mean, that's a lot of gold off that inner turret as well. AL take themselves back up to a 2.5K gold lead. JDG looking to continue their objective dominance, though. They want to be able to try to pressure up towards this top side. They want to be able to secure some vision in the river. They did get themselves that scuttler. AL taking their turn here, moving up through mid lane. They're going to try to wrest some vision control back for themselves, see if they can take control of the JDG jungle, stop their approach into Baron, maybe even force a blind face check at some point in the near future. Flandre, two-level advantage over HongQ. It's a nice little trade.
Flandre, dude, he's so young. Let him play the game, brother. You have like 3x the career this kid has. You don't have to do it to him like that. It's playoffs, I guess. Man, I'm just stuck because we talked about some of the scaling elements of this JDG draft, and AL will always be incredible, especially now Infinity Edge done here for Hope. But this is why I hate Maokai in competitive. He has the most turbo broken kit when it comes to pro play. He has free ward coverage, free objective control when it comes to his E and his ultimate. It's non-committal, so if you miss everything like this, you can go for it.
Double fate sealed found here by HongQ, and he's
dead.
gonna lose his life for it. Down he goes. So Hope's damage chasing him down through the soul unbounded. Tarzan looking for some more. Locks down JunJia, forces the flash over the wall, and no Yone means map control to AL.
Now they can just take whichever side lane they want. It looks like right now it's going to be them focusing on this bot lane tier 2. More gold. They're going to open up a 4,000 gold lead after they grab this turret. Xiaoxu's walking. He's level 16 on the Aurora, but there is so little for JDG to do. This last pick of the Silas is getting so much value. And unfortunately there for Gala, the Enchanted Cross Arrow is not going to be able to land on anyone either. It is now getting to that point in the game where we talked about them last game, the desperation starting to kick in. We're 2 minutes before Dragon, and we just lost Flash on our jungler. It's getting less and less likely that we see JDG pick up the second game.
Yeah, HongQ, again, just kind of looks for an aggressive angle there. His second item, QSS, does not save him in that particular case. He gets chased down through the Soul and Bound, and now going to find himself at 1-4, not having the kind of performance you dream of here, and he needs to be able to be a major damage source here. Gala's 2K gold behind, even if he wasn't. 3 items on the Ashe is not quite comparable to 3 items on the Yunara in regards to raw DPS. And the Maokai damage is going to start to fall off as time goes on. He's going to build more tanky. He's going to try to play frontline for the rest of the squad. Aurora going to help you out a little bit in that department, but I mean, AL just finding really, really great fight angles, and Tarzan with, again, just a full Swiss Army knife of ultimates available to him. There's always good options in pretty much every engagement, and he's done a great job of finding good fights with them so far.
All right, second item here for HongQ. Let's see if you've got it, brother. You're level 15 on the Yone. It's looking grim, but if you're AL, you're looking. This is great. This is sunny days, good futures, bright skies. Looking out for you guys. I have seen very few big mistakes, and a lot of them have been, again, AL going for a +1 on a play. We just won a big team fight. Let's go for some more. JunJia, no flash here. He has 2 levels down in jungle.
And he's just up million miles in the river. Will get picked off. Tarzan finds him. Tarzan takes him down. It's a 4v5 with Dragon spawning in 15 seconds. AL, blood in the water, wants some more. Flandre flashes forward, thinks he can take on the bot lane single-handedly, and he might just be able to do so. HongQ gets the knockback onto 2, but Shanks flashes over the wall. It's frontline Victor looking to tear through JDG, and they will do so. Double kill to Shanks. 4 members down. AL about to secure themselves the Dragon, and they take themselves a 6K gold lead.
AL just completely stomped this game out. I mean, they lost some of those Dragons early. It was a quieter early game, but JDG just fall apart at the seams in these big moments here. HongQ had a lot of pressure on him. You are a mid lane import. You are coming into the LPL, especially as an LCP import. A lot of eyes and a lot of scrutiny are going to be on you. And him and JunJia have just not looked good so far. This is an amazing combo from Tarzan, showing off not only why he was the MVP, but last year why he was the most impressive jungler in the entire region. This guy was turning heads. He was one of the best carries. He had the most versatile pool. They can't even stop the Baron at this point. AL is looking unstoppable here in this best of 5.
It was a closer early game, but the mid game goes AL's way yet again, as they find punish after punish onto the LCP duo from JDG. It's just positioning error after positioning error, and don't think I forgot about you, Gala. He's got one in his boat as well this game. It's just JDG with sloppy play around the mid game, not finding themselves in safe positions, not finding themselves with the necessary backup, not observing the buddy system, and letting themselves get isolated and picked on off by a team comp that's got plenty of ways to do that to them.
And let's not only give criticism to JDG in the play that's going on in the Rift, but also, I think eyes and some of the blame does fall onto Tabe, right? Like, you're supposed to be this legendary coach, one of the best the LPL has ever produced, and so far with a team that I wouldn't say is packed with superstars, but definitely has a lot of potential and should be top of the region. They have a lot of mid-game scenarios that are, frankly, quite disturbing. So, I don't know what's going on backstage. You also have Coach Zoom, formerly a top laner in the league, helping out with Xiaoxu, but we need to figure out something that's going to be helping us. Maybe just draft more early game, but like, we do nothing here.
Yeah, that's 3 ultimates used to get Tarzan to a 3rd HP, and he's just going to walk away. So they hold for now. They stop their top lane inhibitor turret from falling down. They break the siege for the time being, but they don't do anything to meaningfully claw themselves back to the game either. JDG, no objectives for a while. They get a little bit of time just to farm on up, but yeah, they're kind of hoping and praying at this stage, Alk. The gold lead's a bit out of control.
Am I ever... Oh, I'm going to see Diadem of Souls. Okay, I've been waiting for this one. I'm so obsessed with items, mostly just because we have so many cool interactions in the game, especially with items, but the Enchanter items this season are really broken, but I just don't think it's going to really matter, at least in this scenario, right? Like, we have 3-item Seraphine. It's going to have to be something, but when you're an Enchanter and you're enchanting your carries who are either behind or just not able to find those kills, it kind of falls upon deaf ears. So Flandre's pushing in mid. They still have this Baron for another 15 seconds, and if JDG get nothing here, they're going to keep getting squeezed across the map.
That's exactly what's happening here. Flandre gets more and more plates, more and more gold. My man's level 19. And Xiaoxu 17, and here comes an encore. They think they've got themselves a little bit of a pick here. Chain CC comes through onto Hope. He face tanks it for a while, but will eventually drop down to Gala. And now it's 5 versus 4 in JDG's favor. Can they push for more? Just one pick. Again, they break the siege, but they lost the mid lane inhibitor turret. They haven't really slingshotted themselves back in the game in any meaningful way, but they cannot find a follow-up team fight. Too much disengage from the rest of AL. They get themselves out.
And there was another 3 ultimates used to just finally get one pick. And that was through Kael giving him his ultimate, Kael also healing him up and using his Mikhail. So a lot burned from JDG to just get a single one. The shutdown's nice, but I need to see more. Every dragon for the last 5 minutes for the last 10 minutes has been soul point here for JDG. And now this is where it needs to materialize into something. I gotta say, Gordo, even with it being a Chemtech Dragon, this isn't necessarily the big spike in power. Even if you grab this objective that's going to make or break this game, you still have a lot of work to do here. So I like the control. Let's get Maokai set up in place, throw some saplings so we can control the area, and more importantly, stall AL so we can get these big team fighting ultimates back unavailable.
Absolutely.
Oh, massive flank TP.
Here. Yeah, coming on behind. It is looking like it's going to be Flandre trying to get the fight started. Loses a lot of health, but pops the dominance, dumps on in, and is looking to push
Tarzan
them out of this bottom side. Nice set of ultimates, though, come on through. Xiaoxu gets big between worlds on through, and down goes one. Health bar's falling lower and lower. Xiaoxu popping up the backside. HongQ staying alive, and JDG find the team fight they were looking for. It's a double kill to HongQ. Everybody managed to stay alive. A clean ace for JDG at 33 minutes into the game, and they're running down the bottom side. They might be able to end the game. Oh,
30-second death timers. We have no grubs here. How can they do that? I mean, they have got 2 cannon minions. I think this might be it, like you were just saying. Somehow, Flandre just goes way too deep. AL,
I don't think they can do it.
I can't believe it.
It's 15 seconds to go on Hope and Kael. They're
gonna
still
send
working through these turrets. They're going to full send it. Tarzan's up in 8. Hope is up in 10. Can they get back here to stop it? The victor would be the best member. Kael's here, trying to slow him up. Tarzan arrives, doesn't have the ultimate available, will steal away between worlds, trying his best to clear out this team.
God.
Hope shows up, starts pumping out the damage, but it's too little and it's too late. JDG find one decisive team fight and end the game. Series is tied up at 1-1.
By any means necessary, we are going to win this game. JDG said, look, we are not going to win a game that goes any later than this. We need to pounce on the opportunity, and that is a great find, but you are never going to win a best of 5 consistently enough by just preying on a 30-second death timer and ending like that. I need to see much stronger play, but good for them to keeping them alive in this series. They at least get 2 more games here.
Also, I'm going to bring back an old favorite here. Flandre, that TP sucked, man. That was not good.
Oh, no.
For your chance to win that game. They're in such a dominant position. Obviously, you don't want to give up the soul, but that's just a bridge too far. He loses so much so fast. He doesn't have the damage to be able to threaten anybody. Seraphine's shielding pretty much stops him from doing much of anything before he drops on down, and the full suite of ultimates available for them, they keep HongQ alive long enough to dish out the damage. They finally have one good team fight with Xiaoxu getting a really good between worlds across the team, dancing through the team fight, getting out of the carries. He was 0-0-0 coming into that team fight, and that's the one fight that it takes to end the game.
That was really, really good stuff from JDG. I don't want to take anything away from them. That was a clean enough team fight from them. Gala flashes away, still gets stunned by the Renekton, but now he's out of effective range of this champion, and AL were not in any kind of area to really respond or help out their top laner. So I really want to applaud JDG for not only finding the one play in the game, the 1% chance you actually come back from a 7,000 gold deficit, but everything leading up to that point was super sketchy. And my worry here for JDG is that so far, the way that they've played their first 8 minutes of the game has set them up for failure. We talk about game number 1, they lose that 3v3 on the top side scuttle around Grubs, the game's over. We see them play around 8-minute timer in bottom lane. We lose a large portion of the game from there. Our Ashe Seraphine is cut off at the legs, and we never really get to scale into this game until the very last moment where both Xiaoxu and HongQ get really big ultimates going into that fight.
Yeah, I mean, just a huge, huge turnaround there found. Camera can't even handle it. As we see, I felt like was the team. This is the kind of play that we saw from JDG, right? A lot over their last series. They were the ones who were able to take leads and then would be throwing the leads back. I'm very surprised to see it happen to anyone's legend here. I suppose it can happen to anyone at any time, but I mean, just one massive error cost them the game at 30 minutes. It's hard to walk away with much other than criticisms for JDG because of the way that entire game was played out. Obviously, you know, AL come back in, happy with how they played their early and mid-game, happy with the fact that they were able to build themselves up a 7K gold lead, and you know, the message to walk away with is, hey, let's not get 5 for 0 aced at 30+ minutes.
This is a play that did cost AL a lot, and this is where I was kind of going back and forth about, hey, yes, this is where AL kind of feels like they're going for another play because they had just gotten the Dragon and they had just won a minor team fight, but like, what exactly are we looking for afterwards, right? Like, cool, we landed 2-man ultimate. We then punish them for trying to dive our tower, but I mean, so many of these setups were really, really good for AL. So it's more of, again, I really enjoyed your description of Flandre. That TP sucked, man. Like, you're way too far up. Team wasn't there.
You're against
Part of that is
like,
Flandre's
you're just never going to
fault.
be able to get in. Your teammates can't follow up.
I just want to see, again, I want us to take a look at, like, where exactly was the play, because
I want to watch the fight again, yeah. Which
This
it's going
was
to be
good.
the last replay in the whole montage, so we're going to be sitting here for a tight minute.
Yep. And then Shanks, like, stays for the minion wave because he doesn't have a way to get back under the turret. This was fun. AL did give them a lot of breathing room here in this game. That is something that we can agree on, is AL just kind of, because of the way their composition really works, they're very explosive, but still, again, very short range. They don't have a ton of engagement. And that's been quite interesting to note so far. They've been playing these compositions so far in the playoffs, at least in this series, where very little engage, but a lot of strong team fighting. And maybe just recognizing that not only is the game always going to come down to these big dragon fights and these 5-on-5s, but they're at least playing, I think, with a lot of gusto, especially now with the support pools essentially moving into enchanters only.
Yeah, I think this
Yeah,
is
look at
it.
his team! How are we ever getting here?
Yeah, and I mean, it's a million miles away, right? Flandre finally shows up. Tarzan steals away Encore, lands it onto only JunJia, and now he's dead. Flandre's in GA. It's a 5v3.
Looks free. Looks free to me.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, it's not really an individually clutch mechanical play. It's, yeah, I mean, you can tell Tabe's not happy with this game, nor should he be.
I mean, he's like, look, we got to win. We're not getting 2-0'd. Okay, we're not looking at it potentially having to reverse sweep this series, at the very least, for now. So, like I said, a win's a win. It might not be as good, but all you can do, and something that we saw a lot from Tabe at Worlds this last year was, look, let's just keep it pushing. Like, there's no reason for us to, like, kind of ruin the mood. We gotta keep going. We can get the harsh review after the series, but while we're in, we gotta stay focused. We have to. The objective is to win the series. All that matters is we get a 3 on our side.
Now, here's a big question for you all. Are you
What's
bold enough? Are you brave enough to give Xiaoxu the MVP for this game?
I think we should give Flandre the MVP. We should give him the MVP from game number 1 to this one. He was the most pivotal member to the success of JDG's win here.
I agree. I don't think the main broadcast will feel the same. I think we're about to see perhaps I feel like if it's not a Xiaoxu MVP, then you're giving it to somebody who was an active participant in losing this game.
They're gonna give it to They're gonna say it was either Vampire because he landed some good encores, or they're gonna give it to HongQ because they're like, oh, well, yeah, we gotta give it to someone, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, he did some damage in that last fight. I don't know, man. I give my man Xiaoxu his flowers, all right? Please. He's had such a good season. He's been so good. Off of such a mid-career up to this point. It's so good for him. I want to see some more respect put on this guy's name. We'll find out if we get it here. Oh,
ooh!
Let's go! Let's go!
Beautiful, beautiful.
He's
stuff.
also the MVP in that last fight, assuming you're not giving it to somebody on AL. It's the last. I told you it was 0-0-0 coming into the last team fight.
What are the highlights going to be? We usually don't look at the player highlights after the play of the game, but I actually do want to see what they're going to choose for these because
it's going to be the last team fight, and it's going to be him wave clearing top. There was a moment where they were sieging on the inhibitor tower top lane, and he ulted basically to clear the wave. And I think that's highlight number 2. Highlight number 1. Game-ending team fight. Highlight number 2.
I think they might not do it because they're like, there's
respect.
No, oh, okay. They're gonna show us the votes. They're gonna show us the votes. So there's some Gala voters here.
That's crazy. It's crazy. No HongQ voters.
No HongQ voters. Honestly, fair. No JunJia voters either. I'm also okay with that.
We never hang out on main broadcast this long. Are the highlights coming? When do we give up?
I'll give it another like 30 seconds here, and then
we can do that. We can vamp until
I just want to see if they're gonna decide to do this or not, or if they're just gonna immediately.
I don't know. It's a tough.
Listen,
they're being put in a. They're having their broadcast format challenged, and in a way, so are we. So we're gonna get through this together. LPL broadcast.
All right, they're not doing it. We Gordo, send us out, brother. Send us out.
So we're not doing it either, baby. We'll see everybody for game number 3. We're gonna throw it to a quick break here. We'll see you all on the other side. Series is tied up 1-1 in the top A bowl. Let's find out who can take it to match point in game number 3 after a quick break.